If you ever drive through Coldwater County at night, you'll notice something strange about the houses. There aren't any lights. Not porch lights, not windows, nothing. Just dark shapes sitting back from the road, like they're holding their breath. Locals say it's because people go to bed early out there. Farm country. Nothing to do after dark. But that's not true. Because there's one house that always has a light on, and that's the problem. I didn't know any of that when my car broke down. It happened exactly the way horror movies warn you it will. Middle of nowhere, no signal, no traffic, night coming down fast. The engine sputtered twice, like it was clearing its throat, then just died. I tried the key again. Nothing. Just that empty clicking sound that tells you you're not going anywhere. For a while I just sat there with my hands on the steering wheel, staring through the windshield at the trees crowding the road. They leaned inward like they were trying to close it off behind me. No streetlights, no other cars, just miles of black woods, not even one bar. So I grabbed my flashlight and started walking, because sitting still felt worse. It was colder than it should have been. Late August shouldn't feel like that. But every breath came out thin and pale in front of me, the kind of cold that creeps under your clothes and settles against your spine. The road stretched forever. My footsteps sounded too loud. Every time gravel crunched, I flinched like something might answer back. After maybe 10 minutes, I saw it. A porch light. Soft yellow. Steady. Like someone waiting up. I don't think I've ever felt relief hit me that fast before. A house meant people. People meant a phone. Help, warmth, normalcy. I actually laughed under my breath. Of course, there's a house. Like the universe had thrown me a bone. The closer I got, the less comforting it felt. It was a big place. 2 stories. Old. White paint peeling in long strips like sunburned skin. The yard was huge, but empty. No car, no decorations, no toys, no signs anyone actually lived there. Just that single porch light glowing like an eye that wouldn't blink. The windows were black, every one of them, which didn't make sense. If someone was awake enough to leave the porch light on, why were all the lights off inside? I told myself, maybe they were asleep. Maybe they just forgot. People forget things all the time. That's normal. Normal. I kept repeating that word like it could protect me. The steps creaked when I climbed them. Not a casual creak either. A deep, groaning sound, like the wood hadn't been stepped on in years. That should have been my first clue. A lived-in house doesn't sound abandoned. I knocked. No answer. Knocked again, louder. Still nothing. I noticed the door wasn't fully closed. It was cracked open maybe an inch. Just enough to show darkness inside. I didn't remember touching it. But while I stared at it, the door moved slightly. Slow, soft, like someone on the other side had taken their hand off it. My heart did this weird little stutter. "Hello?" I called. "Sorry, my car broke down. I just need to use a phone." Nothing. No TV noise, no footsteps, no voices. Just that heavy silence. And a smell. Dust, old wood, and something faintly sour. Like damp laundry left too long. Every instinct told me to leave. Walk 10 more miles in the dark. So I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The air felt wrong. Thick. Like the house hadn't been aired out in decades. My footsteps sounded muffled, like the walls were swallowing the noise. The hallway wallpaper was peeling. Old floral patterns faded to almost gray. Pictures lined the walls. Dozens of them. Family photos, I assumed. I leaned closer to look. Black and white. Really old. Same house. Same porch. Different people. Different decades. But every single photo had the same composition. Someone standing in the doorway. Half inside. Half outside. Like they were just arriving. Or just leaving. And every face was scratched out. Not torn. Not damaged by time. Scratched. On purpose. Deep, angry lines carved into the paper. All of them. My stomach tightened. Okay, I muttered to myself. That's weird. Just weird. Old houses have weird stuff. That's normal too. Then I heard it, a floorboard upstairs. One slow step. I froze. Hello? I called. Nothing. Then another step, lighter, careful, like someone trying not to make noise. That's what scared me. Not walking, sneaking. People don't sneak around their own house unless they're hiding, or unless they don't want you to know where they are. Sorry to bother you, I said, quieter now. I just need a phone. Silence stretched so long my ears started ringing. Then, another step. Right above me, tracking me, matching where I stood. Like whoever it was knew exactly where I was through the ceiling. I should have left. I know that now. But something about the house felt expectant, like it didn't want me to go. Like the air had weight. Like walking back out would be harder than walking in. I don't know how else to explain it. It felt like pressure, like being deep underwater. So instead of leaving, I moved forward, into the living room. There was furniture, but it was all wrong. A couch with sheets over it. A TV that looked 30 years old. A clock on the wall. The clock wasn't ticking. It didn't even have hands. Just numbers, like time had been removed. Dust covered everything evenly. The floor. There was a path. A clean path. From the front door to the stairs. Like someone walked it over and over. And never anywhere else. Then I noticed something that made my throat go dry. There were shoes by the stairs. Dozens of them. Men's boots, women's sneakers, kids' sandals. Different sizes. Different styles. All old. All dirty. None matching. Like a collection. Or like people took them off when they came inside and never put them back on. I counted without meaning to. There were at least 20 pairs. Maybe more. And suddenly the house didn't feel empty anymore. It felt full, just not with anything alive. The step upstairs came again, slower, right above the staircase now, waiting. I don't know why I went up. I've replayed that moment 1,000 times. Why didn't I just run? Why didn't I trust my gut? But there's this thing about curiosity. It convinces you that if you just see what's causing the fear, it'll stop being scary. It lies. Every time. The stairs creaked under me. Loud, each step announcing exactly where I was. But the thing upstairs, silent now, moving, listening, waiting for me to come to it. Halfway up, the air got colder, way colder, like stepping into a freezer. My breath fogged again, and that smell got stronger, damp, rotten, sweet and wrong, like something old, something that used to be alive. At the top of the stairs was a hallway, 3 doors, all closed. The last one at the end had light under it. Soft yellow, the same color as the porch light. Every other part of the house was dark. But that door, that one glowed, like something inside was awake. I stood there for a long time just staring at it, because I knew, whatever was making the footsteps, whatever left those shoes, whatever scratched out those faces, was behind that door. And somehow, I also knew, it knew I was there. Then it spoke. Through the door. My voice. Hey, it said. Perfectly my voice. Calm, friendly. Come in. I found the phone. Every hair on my body stood up. It wasn't similar. It wasn't close. It was exact. Like someone had recorded me and played it back. But I hadn't said that. I hadn't said anything. Come on, it said again. Still my voice. You're safe. That was the worst part. It sounded reassuring, like me trying to comfort a scared kid, except it wasn't me, and it didn't mean it. I don't know how I knew that, but I knew, deep in my gut. If I opened that door, I wouldn't leave, not like myself. Then it laughed. My laugh. Just a little too long, just a little too breathy, like it didn't quite understand when laughter is supposed to stop. That broke whatever spell I was under. I turned and ran, down the stairs, past the shoes, through the hallway, out the front door, back. I just ran down the road as fast as I could, branches scraping my arms, breath burning, heart hammering so hard it made my vision shake. I didn't stop. Not once. Eventually, headlights appeared. A truck. I flagged it down like a maniac. The driver helped me call a tow truck. I told him about the house. Asked who lived there. He just stared at me funny. Then he said something I'll never forget. "There's no house on Coldwater Road," he said. "Not for miles." I told him exactly where it was. The porch light. The stairs. Everything. He shook his head. "There used to be one," he said. "Burned down years ago. Whole family died inside. Nothing left but foundation." The next day, after my car was fixed, I drove back. In daylight. Just to prove to myself I wasn't crazy. I found the spot. Exactly where I remembered. Same bend in the road. Same trees. Same clearing. But there was no house. Just weeds, charred wood, and a blackened square where something had burned to the ground. No porch, no stairs, no door, nothing. But sitting in the dirt near where the steps should have been was something small. I walked closer, slow, dreading what I'd see. It was a shoe. Mine. The one I'd been wearing the night before, covered in dust, like it had been there for years. And next to it were footprints, leading away from the foundation, bare footprints, walking toward the road, like something had followed me out. Didn't need shoes anymore. And sometimes, late at night, when my house is quiet, I hear footsteps upstairs. Slow, careful, trying not to make noise. And every once in a while, I hear my own voice from the hallway. Soft, friendly, practicing, like it's still learning how to sound human. Calling my name, telling me everything's fine, telling me to come upstairs, because it found the phone.